Oh yeah. All right, people. Let's get it ready. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. It's on now. I know y'all ready. All right. Well, what's going on, people? What's going on? What's going on? I want to welcome you to the Man to Man Let's Talk Facebook Live show. We're so excited to be here, and thank you so much for following me and checking out the shows and your comments and sharing the videos. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Um, the Man to Man Let's Talk Facebook Live show is all about meeting your neighbor. And I want you guys to meet the people who I'm connected to. I want you to meet my neighbor, okay? Because neighbors need to know each other, and that's very important. But I want to share a little something with you about Man to Man Let's Talk. Because Man to Man Let's Talk is a men empowerment organization that focuses on creating a safe place for men to talk, to bring awareness to who we are and who we belong to, and to know our responsibility and what it is to be according to the area where God put us in and the description for the position that He has put upon us as men. For more information about Man to Man Let's Talk, go to www.m, the number 2m, let's talk.com. That's www.m2mletstalk.com. Listen, we do workshops, we do conferences, and what I call Man Talk Saturday breakfasts every fourth Thursday of the month. So we're doing that on the Zoom platform. So please check the calendar on the website for more information. It's important for us to value the relationships in our lives because relationships are important. And the only way that we can establish them is meeting on a regular basis. So our workshops, conferences, Man Talk Saturday breakfasts are important throughout the year. This is not just an annual thing that we do. No, we do this every month. We have something going on every month because we want to build relationships. We want to make ourselves available for each other because that's very important for our development as men. Listen, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Man to Man Let's Talk, to see this video and other videos that we have of getting to know our neighbors on the Man to Man Let's Talk Facebook Live show. All right. We're calling all men to be a part of this movement that will help us and the people around us to please help us be the best that God has created us to be. Uh, Man to man, let's talk. Let me tell you something. We're not only on the Facebook Live show, but also every fourth Thursday of the month. Man to Man Let's Talk is on KYOK in the Houston area. If you're in town, AM 1140 and the all new 92.3 FM, tune in of the Man to Man Let's Talk show on the KYOK gospel radio station. If you're not in the area, go to www.kyok.org and you can listen to it live stream on the internet. Man to Man Let's Talk is saturating the news feed with prayer on Monday morning, a word from the Lord on Sunday morning. Let me tell you, at 9 a.m., you get a word from the Lord right in the comfort of your own home. We have Hallelujah Hump Day with me and my son on Wednesday, and we have Words of Empowerment on Friday. So we keep it engaged, right? Because we all need some encouragement. And men, you can also go to Man, Let's Talk, the closed group page where it's just us men. So please inbox Eugene Johnson, that's me, your host, for more information on how you can connect in our group. We have over 300 plus guys where we have conversations about men stuff and we keep each other encouraged. So please keep that in mind. Also, we have a workshop that's coming up October the 24th, and the theme is make time. It's important for all of us to make time to be the best that God has created us to be. And I challenge every one of you men to make time and to attend this workshop that's coming up October 24th at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., where we'll have two amazing speakers and myself we'll be able to share some words to help us become better men right before football gets started. How about that? So we encourage all men to attend, and also we encourage the ladies. Ladies, please share the information to the men that's in your network, and that they're able to attend as well. We're not to the point, and we'll never be to the point to where we have it all as men. But as we continue to work on being a better man on a daily basis, we're closer to being what God wants us to be. But if we're not working on ourselves on a regular basis, then we're putting ourselves in a challenging position in fulfilling the purpose that God has put in us. So please, hashtag make time, come to this workshop. Listen, you can follow me on Facebook, Eugene Johnson Jr. You also have Eugene Johnson Jr., the Transformer, where you can follow me on my speaker page. On Instagram, you can follow me at Man to Man Let's Talk. And not only am I a trainer, but a speaker. I'm also a trainer as well. So you can follow me at Find a Trainer 614 on Instagram, and on Facebook. You can go to Eugene Johnson Jr.'s In Home Personal Training on Facebook. That's Eugene Johnson Jr.'s In Home Personal Training on my Facebook page. Now, listen, we have a phenomenal guest that's coming up. This young man, um, he was my first interview on the internet. Was really excited about that. He interviewed me about 2 years ago, and we've been connected ever since. So my man Kevin Thornton, he's an amazing guy, and you get to meet my neighbor, right? A gentleman from Atlanta, Georgia, and he's going to bring some great knowledge to us today, and hopefully he'll be able to inspire you with the things that he has to say. And I just want to share a few words about Kevin. Kevin is a graduate from Eastern Michigan University with a bachelor's in health administration. He has a master's degree in psychology at Argosy University in Atlanta. In 2011, he was life coached by Iyanla Van Zant, and that experience is where he found his life's purpose to inspire. I'm telling you, you want to hear this story about him being coached by Ms. Van Zant. Um, Kevin is all about educating, empowering others to create the healthiest version of themselves, mind, body, and spirit. This is what Kevin is all about. In 2013, Kevin became a certified life coach. And in 2015, he became a certified holistic health coach from the Integrated Institute of Nutrition. He began his coaching business under the name The Wellness Architect because we are the architects of our health and our life. We're talking about Kevin Thornton. All right, I know y'all heard about my man before. In 2017, he began hosting his own internet radio show called The Wellness Architect Show. And in that same year, he published his first book entitled 20 Beautiful Men. I'm telling you, buckle your seatbelts. It's going down for real. My man that we're going to bring in, okay? I want y'all to give it up on your end. Give it up for my man, Kevin Thornton. What's up, Kev?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, man. And it's so good to see you. Look good, brother.
Thank you. So do you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Kevin, the wellness architect. That what sticks in my head. You know, I don't even know you by Kevin. I just know you by the wellness architect. You know what I'm saying? Man, listen, so glad that you're here. And I ask all the males that come on the show this question. And
Mhm.
I ask you, man, what is your definition of a man?
For me, a definition of a man is a man who is a provider for not only himself, but for his family. A man of integrity, respect, and honor, and someone who takes responsibility and accountability of who he is and the actions that he takes. And that's what I believe a man is and should be.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, Kev, man, tell us a little about yourself and Let's start. Did you grow up in the Georgia area, man?
No, no, sir. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I went to a school called Warrensville Heights High School, and I graduated there. And I moved to Michigan, and I went to Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti, Michigan, which is like 45 minutes away from Detroit. I got my degree in health administration, and then I moved to Detroit, and I worked at Blue Cross for a while. And then I was in Detroit for like 15 years, and then I made a segue to Indianapolis, still working for Blue Cross. And then Blue Cross then relocated me down to the ATL. And in the ATL is when I was already going through the journey of transforming who I am in Indianapolis. But once I got down to Atlanta is when the transformation really started changing. Um, I started, becoming a fitness instructor. But what really changed me was one day I was going to do a boot camp class, and I was waiting for the instructor. So I was sitting in my car, and Michael Baisden had his radio show going, and on Wednesdays he would always have Iyanla Vanzant on the call, and she was do her life coaching. And so this particular day, she said she felt led to offer a free 9-week coaching session to the first 100 Black men. And I went ahead and did it, and it ended up being like 125 of us. And in that 9-week experience, it changed my life. It made me realize what my purpose was. And it also understood that, as I want to coach everybody and want to be a vessel for everybody, but I saw a void and a need for Black men. Because when I got coached with those men and I saw the pain and the hurt that they was going through, and just like the first time they was able to find a safe space to really tell their story and how they feel, express how they feel, and seeing all these men crying because lack of a father or being molested as a kid, if these just 100, it's probably thousands like that. And, it's my mission to try and be a vessel for them, because if we ever want to make our community great, like it is, our men gotta do the healing they need to do so they could be the fathers, the husbands, and the leaders they can be and they're called to be.
Wow, wow, man, it's like you talking to yourself in the mirror right now, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, those words are. I mean, it goes to show you that the need that's out there and all the things that you said, I definitely can relate to that, and that's the reason why I am in the position where I'm in right now, because I saw the hurt and the pain, and unfortunately the place where they thought they can get it at, they wasn't getting it there, and that's at church.
Right,
Where you think, and if you can't get it at church, then where else can you go? You
right.
know what I'm saying? And so I'm seeing men hurting and suffering, people leaving, churches and everything, and just kind of giving up on
Hmm.
God. And for me, I was like, I have to do something, because I don't want to just sit on a bench and be like that's their problem. You
Right.
know, it's important for
But
me
but
to
and,
do my
but
part.
but a lot of times that's the mindset that we have.
Yeah,
That's their problem. And then what's so great about you and myself is we haven't given up on them.
that's right.
And a lot of times we tend to only focus on the youth. And once the men get in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s, it's like the mindset is we just give up on them. It's too late for them. They're not going to change. And that's not necessarily true. It's just the fact that we don't, people have not given them a chance to let them tell their experience. And so that someone could at least listen and maybe help them through that journey, because we're all men won't say it, but all they looking for is somebody to love them.
Yes, sir.
Because that's all they're looking for, and to be heard. A lot of times, the men don't feel like they're being heard, and so it's up to us. It's up to you and I to be that vessel to try to be the people that listen. And like you said, the church doesn't do it. Not all, but some churches don't do a good job with them. But I think too, that's where you and I come in as coaches, because we are an unbiased person who don't know you. So we're going to give you, you know, the tools that you need to do to become the best version of yourself, mind, body, and spirit. And how we do it, we're not going to judge you, but we're going to tell you the truth about what we're seeing and the behaviors that you're doing and how we can rectify that as well.
Hmm. Absolutely. So, the time that you spent with Ms. Van Zant and those 100+ men, um, you realized that you wanted to go in that direction and to be able to help specifically the men in that area. Um, what, tell me about the life coaching process that you went through to become a life coach, and how was that? And then also talk about what you have seen with how people perceive life coaches.
Good question. So the process was, a lot of, you know, textbook stuff that you have to read to understand what the process is or how you become a life coach. But also I had to do like some pro bono work as part of the process. So I had to get like two of my friends to allow me to coach them for free and apply what I was learning in the classwork to them in real life. And then I had to document that and have them document their experience with me and submit as part of my learning experience. And then I had to do like a final exam from that. But for me, the textbook stuff was cool, but for me, the greatest experience was the pro bono work I had to do, because it forces me to apply what I was learning. But what I would say too is, if those who are looking for a life coach, you also want to get someone who has been coached, because then they understand the process. They more sympathetic, empathetic to the process because they've been through it. Um, so how do people perceive us? I think a lot of people think because we are a life coach that we have everything together. And that's necessarily true. We all still are works in progress. And most good life coaches still, or good coaches in general, still have a coach themselves, because there's still things that you got going on that you are in, that since you're in it, you can't really see it. So you're still gonna need that non-biased person to say, okay, Kev, this is what you got going on. This is how you're reacting to it. This is what you need to do. So as far from it that we being perfect, that we have everything together, we just have the tools to know how to handle it better than the everyday person.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's interesting, man. Yeah, and let's talk about like from what we didn't grow up in the same area, but we kind of have similar stories when it comes to how African Americans will perceive
Mm-hmm.
coaches compared to other races and other cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, have you got any pushback on that, or you seen anything in reference to being received or received more than rejected, or being rejected more than received?
Um, if I'm authentic, in the beginning, it was rejected more than received. I think now we're in a place where we're starting to understand more what it is. And celebrity. The fortunate and unfortunate thing is, celebrities can make things popular. And now when you got people like Jay-Z and Common talking about they've been through, therapy or having a life coach. So the mindset of these Black men is, if they could do it, then I could do it as well. So now you got more people looking for life coaches. And for me, if I'm honest too, is that I had to not allow other people to block what my true purpose was. Because when I first got certified as a coach, I told my business coach that, I'm really passionate about Black men, and that's who I want to help. And she instantly said, you don't want to eat. You don't want to eat because Black men is not, it's good that you want to do that, but they're not going to pay for it. You should be looking for women, and you should be looking for people outside of African Americans, because those are the ones that's going to pay. So I did that, but when I started to realize that I allowed her to block my energy, because even though that might be a truth to a certain extent, but there are Black men out there who do want that services. So if I have that energy being blocked because of a belief that somebody put on me, I'm not going to be able to have the energy to attract that person to me. So I had to release that energy. And now that I've released that energy, that's majority of people who's reaching out to me now is Black men.
Wow. Wow. Hey, that's one of those things that I've come to know, that what's for you is for you and no one can take it from you.
Right.
It's already part of God's plan. It's just a matter if we're going to stay on the course that He already has set for us. So, to our listeners, I hope that they receive that well, about staying the course despite what people say. It doesn't matter what credentials they may have. God has the greater credentials, and
Mhm.
we have a vision that other people can't see, and
Right.
so we have to respect the vision that has been given to us and to
Right.
stay the course with it. And I'm excited that you chose to stay the course, and now you're really living in your purpose and helping out the individuals who you
Yeah.
so desire, and that's Black men. So that's awesome, man.
And I think, it's been rewarding for me, um, because to see these young men in their 30s and their 40s, looking to create that change. And, they already beating themselves up thinking that they waited too late to correct the change. And I'm telling them it's not too late. It's never too late to change and to grow. But, but also feel, comfortable enough to allow themselves to be vulnerable, which is something that we're taught not to do. But if you talk to any of my clients, that's the first thing they're going to tell a man or a Black man who wants to be coached, to allow yourself to be vulnerable, because that's the only way you're going to really heal and grow from the situation. And so to see these men, trust me enough to allow them to be vulnerable and go through the process, it's rewarding for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as a life coach, is there a timeline that, you're doing what you're doing, and then, y'all disconnect and y'all revisit later on? Or is it set up where you guys just stay connected for an extended period of time as a life coach?
Good question. So when people come to me, the minimum amount of time they can work with me is 3 months, because you can't see no change in you before 3 months. I preferably say 6 months, because depending on the situation going on and your assessment, it may take 6 months. I've had people who did the 3 months and had great change, and we disconnected, but they are still, call from time to time just to check in with me. And I have someone that I've been working with for 2 years because the issues that the person was dealing with was so deep rooted that he needed that kind of time. But for most of them, they do maybe 6 months and then they'll go, but they'll always call and check in, let me know what's going on with them. Or if they have a quick question, they'll always ask me. So yeah, that's how I usually go.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's all about relationships. We talked about that before, and it's hard to kind of just disconnect. For me, it's like when people or when God moved people out of my life, and nothing I can do about that. When people decide to, move on or whatever, don't call you back or whatever for whatever reason, nothing you can do about that. But for
Right.
me, I take relationships very personal.
Mm-hmm.
That the time that we've shared our spirit to one another and we've opened up in a vulnerable state. And to me, that is a bond that you can't put a price tag on. So it's like we together. Whether we far away or not.
Mm-hmm.
We've established a big time relationship, and selfishly, I want to stay connected because I want to see the progress in an
Right.
individual and everything. So, but got to respect their space, and if they need that
Mm-hmm.
space to do their own thing and on the path that God has given them, then let them do their thing. And have you like experienced, that where you trying to reach out to people and they don't call you back and everything, and you really spend a lot of time with them and everything? You're like, what's going on?
No, I'm just been blessed enough that I haven't had that issue. You know, I think I'm like you. I'm really big on relationships and connecting with that person. So I think, and the process is so intense and intimate with that person that a lot of times, even if they go their separate ways, they will never not answer my call or my text or not be willing to reach out to me. So luckily I've been blessed with that so far. That never happened to me.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. So, all this have led you to an extent uh, that you were motivated to write a book and everything. I mean, this your first book, correct?
Yeah.
So what drove you to sacrifice the time to put pen to paper and to put this book together and market it and tell us the name of the book and just a little bit what the book is all about.
Okay. Um, I'll say this. This was never my intention. And me, I have a show called the Wellness Architect Show. That was never my intention. I'm a laid back dude, so I would never want who wanted a lot of attention. But what's for you is going to be for you. And what happened was, due to me doing the show and being interviewed on other people's shows, my name was circulating in social media world on the internet, and a young lady reached out to me and was like, I want you to be part of this. Are you interested? And I was like, yeah. So in the process of doing that, I got sick. I got bit by a poisonous spider called a brown recluse. It's really popular down here in Atlanta, and it bit me in my ankle. And I had to have emergency surgery, and I was in the hospital for a month. And so once I got discharged, I was bedridden. And so I had my laptop and I had like thousands and thousands of emails. So as I cut through the emails, I saw the email from the publisher, like, okay, we waiting on you. And at that time, I didn't know what my story's going to be about or anything like that because I had so much on my mind about going through this life-threatening situation that I didn't know what I wanted to do my story on. And so what I ended up doing my story on was my journey. my journey to becoming who I am as a life coach. And I gave credit to a friend of mine that I went to college with, and it was her grandmother. So her grandmother was like my grandmother in Detroit. And, one day I always go visit her. Then one day she was sick, and so she's on her deathbed. So I came back to Detroit and I talked to her, and she told me she started changing me. And she talked about how I matured and everything like that. And she said, I see you in the ministry. And I'm like, what? So that kind of like threw me for a loop, because I was never that dude that wanted to do that. But what it ended up doing was understanding that what I do with the show, what I do with the book, what I do as a coach is part of my ministry. What I do when I teach spin classes is all part of my ministry. So I don't have to be in the church per se to have a ministry. And that's what I have learned. And thanks to her, this is what I have created as, the wellness architect to create my ministry. So the wellness architect is pretty much a book of short stories by 20 dynamic men who's telling their story of redemption, motivation, weight loss, and while all doing this, walking in your purpose. So it's a book for inspiration and motivation for not just men to read, but women can read it as well, because the women will get a better insight on men and how we operate and what we need for that added motivation that can help them in their relationship with their husband or their boyfriend, but also with their kids. So, it's all about teaching people or giving the people the opportunity to become their best self through this book of inspiration and motivation.
Wow. I'm glad you put that out there, that it's not just for men, but it's for all of us.
Yeah,
And just like, we could never have enough information on the insight of how we operate. And there are general things that we need as men in order to function correctly. And
right.
I think what the book provides, uh, that information will be able to help women on the outside looking in, not to uh, totally understand, but to have an idea of what areas is needed dealing with the person that they dealing with,
Hmm.
to be able to. I think it's great that women will read the book
Right.
with their significant other, and
Hmm.
so to see if that person kind of falls into that category of one of those 20 men, which I'm sure he will,
Right.
with all that going on. So I love how you said that it's for women as well as it is for men to read that book. And then it's not something that uh, how should I say, too commercial. It's personal
Yeah.
rather than commercial. Um, and I think that's important through that. The relationships you built with these individuals, you was able to share that. And that goes back to what we were talking about in reference to relationships and how important that is.
Right.
So you building relationships with those men and also building relationships with your audience as well. So that's some
Absolutely.
good things, man. That's awesome. I
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
you saying that. So how can people get the book, man? How can they get it?
Well, right now my website is up. It's being revamped. So right now, the best way to do it is to hit me up on social media, on Facebook or Instagram, and DM me. And for your listeners, those who are watching this program, if you purchase the book, I'll hit me up on DM. I'll give you the PayPal link to purchase the book. The book is $20. But for your listeners who's watching this video, if they reach out to me and they indicate they heard about the book through your show, not only will I give them the book and a signed copy of the book, but I have some brochures that I could give out to your listeners. I gave you one
Yes,
where
sir.
you know that we are in the pandemic. We have not been able to go anywhere. So my gift to you all is I have a brochure for a free 3-day, 2-night hotel stay. It's for U.S. destinations. So pretty much most of the destinations that you might want to go to is on there. And that'll be my way to say thank you for supporting me and the journey of Black men.
Yeah, that's what's up. All right, listeners. Hey, you heard the man. Yeah, all you got to do is reach out to him and let him know that you saw him right here on the Man to Man Let's Talk Facebook Live show, and you not only get you a book, but also you get you a nice little weekend vacation. That'll be fantastic. Now, you mentioned on your socials, Kevin. Can you tell us again on Instagram and Facebook, what are your handles on there?
Sure. For Facebook, it's Kevin Thornton. So it's KevinThornton. And also, you could do my Facebook of the Wellness Architect. So you can hit me on either one, on DM on that one. And then for IG is at the Wellness Architect. And DM me at any one of those, and I'll respond back to you. And I'll give you the PayPal link, and we can go from there.
Absolutely, guys. Y'all need to write that down. All right, because I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out on the opportunity when the opportunity for us to really get out and traveling again. You'll have something ready for you. Plus, you'll be able to empower yourself with some great information. So please take advantage of it. And if you have any questions, inbox me, and I'll
Right.
get the information to you. So don't think that because you missed out on this show that you miss out on the opportunity. No, just I'll send you the link. I got you on that. So let's support my man Kev and
I
all the
appreciate
things
that.
that he is doing. Absolutely, Kev. What's one of the biggest things with us men that you're seeing that's keeping us from becoming the best that they can be, and not only just your coaching, but just in general that you're seeing that we as men are having a hard time with.
Um, uh, we have given our power away to other people. And as men, we have to understand that, you know, the limitations that they're trying to place on you is that way for you, and they want to keep you limited. And what I would tell all men is that you have to stand in your power and stand in your truth and be unapologetically you. That's what I feel is one of the things. But then also allow yourself to be vulnerable and, you know, and to what is the issues that's preventing you from being your best self. So if it's procrastination or fear of success, that's all because of fear. And so then you get to ask yourself, what am I fearing? Why do I fear this? Why do I feel like I'm not good enough to be successful like Eugene? You know, so then from there, we could do the work, or you could do the work to figure out what you need to do to heal that fear spirit that you have that's preventing you from being the greatest self, because that's the key word, fear. You know, and fear prevents all of us from being our best selves.
Absolutely. So basically, we are our worst enemy.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. So I guess like you said earlier about us, uh, connecting with one another to help build one another up is the best medicine to an extent, but
Mhm.
also that platform of safety and where a person can be vulnerable. Do you think that's one of the things that's along with fear that's keeping us from moving ahead is embracing
Absolutely.
vulnerability?
Absolutely. Because society has taught us and we've been raised not to be vulnerable because that's a form of weakness. And so then therefore we as men don't show vulnerability. We don't show, sadness a lot because all those things are form of weaknesses. And if but so we have all that built up, but we don't have no way to release it.
Hmm.
And so then therefore it prevents us from being our best self because that vulnerability and that fear is what's holding us back from being our best selves. And then a lot of times too, it's the stories that we allow people to place on us, that, whether it's your parents who said you'll never make up, you never amount to anything, you allow that story to be your truth. So we got to see, can you change the story of what you're telling yourself, or change the story that you allow other people to tell you about yourself, and go from there as well.
Wow. Wow. That is so true. And women have an easier time just in their makeup, being open, being vulnerable. They're able to get together and do all those things. And I guess we don't want to be within the same category as women, because the way we perceive women, they're feminine and weak and stuff. And
Yeah,
we're not gonna get together, like that and pour it all out because we're trying to protect the image. Isn't that
yeah,
right?
absolutely. And that's the first thing, if you have a bonding session like that, the first thing we'll say is that's gay and all that type of stuff. And we got to get past that thought process, because all it's doing is hindering us from our growth.
We got to kill a lot of these stigmas, man, that we've been culturally conditioned to
Absolutely.
believe, and
Absolutely.
the only way, and the reason why I'm in this situation is I took that information that came this way and I put it up to the word of God, and I realized it's not parallel. So I got a choice. Either I'm going to follow what I've been taught, or I'm going to follow what's already been written.
Right.
And in a nutshell, that's the thing that matters the most, is to follow what the Creator has put in the pages of inspiration for us to
Hmm.
follow by. And I just truly believe that a male cannot be a man unless God is in it.
Exactly. And you said something that we know that we need to also they need to also understand, just because all of us are males based on our body parts, but all of us are not men. And so
You-
and your age does not determine if you're a man or a male. You can still be in our age range and be a male because of how you conduct yourself, how you move and shake in your everyday life. That's maleness, you know. But you might not be walking in manhood, and so it's a big difference.
Say it for the people in the back. Look, that's one of the key things. We are males by birth and men by choice.
Yep,
That's so important that we understand that becoming a man is a process.
it's a
Just
process.
like we were babies at once, and now we are adults. So that took years for us to get to an adult status. But we
Right.
had to go from a baby to an adolescent to a toddler to a teenager, to a young adult. And then we became an adult, but that still didn't make us a man. And I think we're missing that, Kev, in our teaching. And we are giving males a title that they haven't worked for.
They haven't worked for and haven't earned.
Yep, yep. And so there's a lot of confusion. It's almost like you giving a male a Ferrari that they've never driven before, a
Right.
high power performance car. You giving them the keys to it, and all they think is I'm gonna go fast like they do on the video games.
Right.
Only to find out once they put the pedal to the metal, it won't be too long before they crash it.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times, because they know you get to a certain age, you're able to do adult things that they automatically think that makes them a man. You could do adult things and not be a man. You could be adult and still be a male.
Yes, Lord, Amen. One of the ladies here on our Facebook Live, she said, "Say that. Too many grown men out here acting like young boys." So
Absolutely.
shout out to Miss Brooks, who is looking at the show, and we thank you for your comments. And if anybody else that's looking at the show, if you got any questions for the wellness architect, my man Kevin Thornton, please put it in the comments, and he would love to answer your questions. So we have a few minutes, so give you guys an opportunity to be able to do that because we definitely want to connect with the audience. So we appreciate you guys on that. So all this stuff that's going on, Kev. Uh, how do you feel about men in general in their community? Do you think that each man has an opportunity to lead in the community where they are, or do they have to like get into a position, so to speak, whether it's in politics or in athletics or city council or anything like that? Do you think that these males aspiring to be men can have an impact right where they are?
Absolutely. It's our responsibility and it's our duty. We all were born to be servant leaders, and we all supposed to be of service. But I think a lot of times people say, "Is I don't have the platform to do so." You don't have to have a large platform. All you have to do is just do. And whoever you reach and whoever you connect is who you're supposed to connect. And as long as you are able to help that person, you're doing your job. And if each person does something, and we each go reach one or teach one or two, then we all are going to do our work and our service to help our community be the best they could be. So I don't, for me, when people say, I don't have the title, I don't have the platform, that's an excuse to me. And so we can't, create, I don't do well with excuses either. Just do it. Do it because there's somebody out there just for you, waiting for you to be the leader and the servant for them. So if it's just one person, that one person is waiting on you.
Amen. So men, y'all hear that? Okay, there are people. There's at least one person that is waiting on you to be able to lead them. They're depending on your leadership and what you have to offer. So if you're listening to this live show, you're watching this on YouTube, just understand that you are valued, you are important, and someone is waiting on you to lead them. Because listen, we like you said earlier, even life coaches have coaches, and that's
Mm,
fine. You know what I mean? It's a deception as if you reach a certain level and that you don't need any more
mm.
encouragement or someone to talk to. Oh man, it don't matter what level we're on. We always
Right.
gonna need somebody to talk to. So
Absolutely.
we got to identify those things that are deceiving and those things that are reality. And what I tell all people, I said, listen, you don't need another man or another woman to validate you. God has
Absolutely.
already validated you. He endorsed you when he put you here on this earth. So
Absolutely.
all you got to do is just do your thing. Like you said, you need to go on and do your thing.
And do it unapologetically. And I just think a lot of times with our culture right now, because we have all these years of you know, the from slavery that's been passed down from generation to generation. So we still have that self-esteem issues a lot of times. So we tend to, feel the need to seek validation from people. And we need those titles to feel good about the essence of who we are. And you don't need those things to make you feel good about yourself. Because then what happens if you never achieve those things, or if the things that you receive is taken from you? Does that mean your happiness go away? Do that mean the essence of who you are changes? It doesn't, because the essence of who you are is who you are inside, unapologetically. And what we need to stop doing is being something that we're not to please other people, because at the end of the day, God has everybody in store who He wants to connect to you, but He wants you to be your true self, so those people can connect to you. Because once you've been a perpetration on the fraud, then the people that He has in store for you can't connect to you because you're not being your true self.
Kev, that's one of the most powerful things you just said right there. And I'm gonna steal that and give you all props on that. but but that is so true. I love the way you put that together and you saying that if you're not your authentic self, then the people that God has put in your life to connect with you can't connect with you because you being someone else. Man, I, just elaborate on that just a little bit more on that, man, because people need to understand what you just said. That's a lot of meat right there that
It
some
is,
people may not be able to process.
because you know you have to understand that you're good enough, and you know that you know and people, those who go to church know that um, God's the highest power. He orders his steps, and he makes no mistakes. So if he's ordering your steps, he also has ordered the people that he want to connect with you in your life. So in order to do that, you have to be your truest, authentic self, because the people that he has placed to connect with you to help you in your journey and your elevation, they're looking for that truest version of Eugene or that truest version of Kevin. But if I'm being a fraud because I'm trying to impress other people, then they can't connect to me because that's not who they're looking for.
Mm, wow. I hope y'all taking notes on that. That's some deep stuff right there. And I thank you so much for sharing that, brother.
You're
I
welcome, sir.
really do. I let that marinate in my spirit. Yes, sir. So, in conclusion, Kev, I want you to share with our audience again, man, about the book and everything, because I think they have some people who came on a little later. I don't want them to miss this opportunity of the wonderful book that you have. So, if you can go ahead and talk about your book real quick and how they can get it and your socials, your media accounts and everything, to let them know how they can get in contact with you so they can take advantage of this opportunity you have to offer for them again, please.
Sure. So my book is entitled 20 Beautiful Men. It's 20 short stories from 20 dynamic authors that I have got together. It's books on it's stories on empowerment, motivation, redemption, inspiration, weight loss, and all those things that we did. Those words is in the process of us finding our purpose in our lives. So it's a book about inspiration and motivation, but also purpose. It's not just for men; it's for women as well. Because it can inspire you as well as a woman, but it also can inspire you to understand your man better too, or your son better. So it'll be a great stocking stuffer for for yourself, for your husband, for your son, your nephews. It's $20. Um, and what you would do is you hit me on my social media handles, Kevin Thornton on Facebook, at the Wellness Architect on Instagram, and just DM me, and I will send you the PayPal link. The PayPal link is gonna be for $20 for the book. It'll be a signed copy. When you DM me and you let me know that you found out about the book through Eugene's Facebook Live talk show, I will also give you a brochure for a free 3-day, 2-night hotel stay in U.S. destinations. Is my way to say thank you, and my way to say enjoy 3 days at the hotel, because you haven't been able to go nowhere through the pandemic. And so this is my way to say thank you to you.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. And I hope our listeners will take advantage of this wonderful opportunity and get that book, man. Because look,
Yes, sir.
it ain't gonna do nothing but help you. That's all I can tell you. It's
Absolutely.
gonna nothing but help you. And in closing, man, I want you to share some encouraging words with our listeners. Man, time flew by so fast, man. We just getting warmed up. Kev, we're gonna have to do this again. Okay,
Not a problem.
like real talk. Like we'll talk about that later on. But we have to follow up on all the things, and I want to do that with all my guests. Is the follow up. Not just once a year or anything like that, man. I like consistency, and we build relationships so they know that you'll be back again. They'll be looking forward to it again. So definitely we're going to talk about that when we finish here. But I would like for you to leave some encouraging words for our listeners, so when they lay their head tonight, and that they'll marinate on the things that you shared with them to help them see the value in themselves.
Okay. What I'm led to tell everybody is I know we're in this pandemic and I know it's been a rough time for a lot of us. But if you are a believer in a higher power, do you understand that this pandemic is a way that God is giving you the opportunity to reset and renew? Reset your mindset and create a new versions of who you're supposed to be. A lot of times, in our lives, we say we're too busy for everything because we're working so hard. So we're too busy to exercise. We're too busy to eat healthy. We're too busy to foster good relationships. We're too busy to branch out into our own business. And so he said, I'm gonna stop everything right now. So then you could all reset, change your mindset, and renew. And so now you get the chance for you to go into 2021, a new version of yourself with new opportunities and unfound greatness that's waiting for you. I want everybody to understand there's an infinite amount of opportunities and blessings that's waiting for you, just for you. Change. Don't feel like it's just for certain people. The abundance of wealth, the abundance of love, the abundance of opportunity is for all of us. We just have to know that it's for us, and we have to embrace it, receive it, and know it. And that's why I challenge you all to do today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Thornton, the wellness architect. He's an author, a fitness trainer, a life coach, and he's just a good friend. I'm so glad, brother, that you shared those words with our audience this evening. And I know at least one person's soul was blessed tremendously.
I
And
appreciate that.
you got it, man. I want to thank you so much for joining us. And to my audience, y'all give it up for my man Kevin. Give him a little. This is what they do in sign language. To give him a round of applause. You know what I'm saying? So y'all give my man a round of applause over there, and please support Kevin and the things that he's doing, and reach out to him if you have any questions or if you want to stay connected to him. He puts out some great information, things to think about, as well as some wellness information as well. So please connect with Kevin. I'm inspired by him, and I know that you'll be inspired by him too. So that's why I brought Kevin on my show, because I want you to know my neighbor. And Kevin is my neighbor, and I'm glad that God has connected us, and I'm excited for all the great things he has in store for us. So Kev, I thank you, brother, and I love you, man.
Love you too. Appreciate you, brother.
Brother, you got it. You got it, man. If you can, you just tell the men out there, man to man, let's talk, man. They need to hear your voice.
Man to man. Let's talk. Let's
That's
do
what
it.
I'm talking about, baby. Right there, my man. Kevin thought, Kev, I'm gonna be with you in a minute, man. I'm gonna hit you in the room and we're gonna close out. Thank you,
All
brother.
right. All right. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're so grateful that you was able to spend time with us as we talked about ways that we can do better as men and as human beings. Shout out to my man Kev for taking time out to be on the show, and I hope that you got something out of it like I did. So very grateful for the comments that were shared, and just continue to follow us every Monday at 8 p.m. As we have a show, and hopefully everything go well. Next week we'll have my man Jason Frazier, who will be speaking with us. So I'm looking forward to that. Another good neighbor of mine. And so please join us on next Monday. And please share the video by all means. If you was inspired or not, it's somebody else that may be inspired. Share the video because it just might save somebody's life. So through the whole ordeal, what I took from Kevin, his words, is what he said about us connecting with one another, that we have to be true to ourselves. God created us a certain type of way. And God has also put people in our lives to be able to connect to us as we connect to them. But if we're not our authentic selves, then those people won't be able to connect to us because that's how it's designed. So be who God created you to be and not allow yourself to be what the world wants you to be. And watch how your life will change. Believe in God 100%. He know he knows what he's doing and he knew what he was doing when he created you. So believe in God, believe in the purpose that he put in your life and live that life to the fullest. And then everything will be the way that God has created it to be. And it'll be a win-win-win situation. You win, God wins, and everybody wins. So it's a win-win situation. So thank you so much for joining us on the Man to Man Let's Talk Facebook Live show. And we look forward to seeing you next Monday. And I'll leave you with these words. Just remember to stay focused, stay in your lane so you can stay the course. And just know that in order for us to be great, we must communicate. You know, God has given us a purpose for you and a purpose for me. So, family, there's no need for us to compete. Why? Because God, think about it, He's given us enough air to breathe. If He's given us enough air to breathe, He's also given us enough blessings to receive. And on a daily basis, throughout the day, ask yourself this question. The why to the answer of your question, if it does not include God of why you're doing what you're doing, then why are you doing it? I'll say it again. If the answer to your why does not include God, why are you doing it? I hope that that question helps and it shapes you to be the person, the better person, the person that God has created you to be. Okay? So please uh, take those words into consideration. And if it's the Lord's will, you're able to see a new day and you be a new person. I love you all. Thank you again for joining the show. Please share this video and follow me on my YouTube channel, Man to Man Let's Talk. And men, let's continue to connect and be the best that God created us to be. But we can't do it unless we're all connected. I love you all. Have yourself a wonderful night. And again, thank you, Kevin, for joining the show. Y'all take care.